Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars Shadow of Maul Issue 1, subtitled Broken Law, which was written by Benjamin Percy with art by Montebec Musabekov and was released on March 4th, 2026, which this is the first issue of a prelude story to the animated series Maul Shadow Lord, which this will be a 5 issue miniseries, which will most likely finish in July. So a few months after season 1 is already over. So kind of weird there. But the story of this issue mainly follows Brander Lawson and Two Boots, who work for what basically seems to be the police on the world of Janix. I don't know how much Maul is actually going to play a part in this comic series, as it seems like it's going to be more about Lawson, which is fine. I'd rather explore one of the new characters instead of Maul, but obviously Maul does end up appearing at the very end of the issue. In the coming issues, I am interested to see how much he actually ends up playing a part in it, but we'll see. As I did quite enjoy the issue, which I describe the issue as kind of a pulpy noir story. Obviously, I don't think they go super far into that genre, but it's definitely there. Obviously, we'll see in the later issues how much they go into it more and all that. But to dive into the story of the issue, we see at the start Brander being investigated or interrogated by this internal investigator on the murder of an officer and the disappearance of another one. And they have a little back and forth, but Brander then starts to tell the story, which starts with another investigation Brander was on, where he went to this underworld bar, which was illegally selling these creatures. And Brander goes there undercover and speaks with the bartender. But it turns out the bartender knows who Lawson is. And, because Brander ordered a drink, the bartender reveals that he put the venom of a wasp burr in Brander's drink, so poisoning him. And so Brander pulls his blaster on him, and the bartender pulls out some hammer, and they get into a duel, which before this we see Two Boots, Brander's sidekick droid, have been talking to Brander over the comms, asking if he should come in yet, and Brander keeps waving him off. But once everything escalates, he calls in Two Boots for backup, and once Two Boots comes in, it escalates even more as I think the bartender throws his hammer thing at Two Boots, but misses and hits the glass cage the creatures are inside, breaking it. And so the creatures are all free, causing more chaos, which Two Boots asks if they should call in more backup, but Brander once again refuses, which eventually Two Boots is able to apprehend the bartender, but he then gets caught by a big spider. And during that, we see Brander starting to get affected by the wasp burr venom, as we get inner dialogue from him saying that he should have called him back up, but his shot is the only one he trusts, as he's able to shoot the spider, freeing Two Boots. But then after that, he passes out. But then it jumps to sometime later at the police headquarters, as Brander is fine now, and we see him getting reprimanded by Chief Kelsey, where we learn that the clients at the bar all got away, and pretty much everything was destroyed. And so they actually got no evidence, as Brander believed the bar was tied to Demis or Demas. I don't know. But, now they have no evidence to tie it back to them. But Brander believes somebody tipped them off, and that's why everything went bad. And so he thinks there's a mole within the police themselves. But Kelsey doesn't listen to him and, you know, tells him that he's a part of a team now, as we learn that Brander used to be a bounty hunter beforehand. So that's interesting. Interested to see if they'll explore that past more in this comic or actually in the show itself. But Kelsey now puts Brander as the lead of this new team, which has 3 other officers named Hendrix, Jam Jam, and Fraxmore, which Hendrix has a red metal hand, which, he uses to shake Brander's hand, which at this moment it then cuts back to that interview as Brander mentions seeing that red hand at the bar. But we then go back to the past as we see Brander debriefing his new squad as he talks about how most of the crime on Janix is traced back to these 3 crime syndicates, as we see images of what I assume are the leaders of said syndicates. But Brander then kind of goes over what their next, mission is, which not sure if what he mentioned was intel they gathered from the bar or somewhere else. I'm not sure, but he mentions that there was this previous crime at a wedding party where all the people in attendance got poisoned with the venom of a roe hippa, and have intel saying that it was done by Demas. But then he mentions that somebody's brother was there, and that somebody worked for Demas, and now that that happened, she wants to take him down. And so their next mission is protection for this lady who's currently in a safe house, which only the 5 of them know about, and so they'll be protecting on a rotation. So, obviously, once again, wasn't really quite sure how, if they got the intel from this lady or from the bar, or if it just was connecting 2 things together. I assume that's probably what it was. But we then see Jam Jam on duty at the safe house, as he then gets attacked by the other officer, Hendrix, who throws a thermal detonator at him. And so then Hendrix walks into the safe room, telling the lady to come out, as Demis wants her alive. But Two Boots and Brander are there, as Brander attends to Jam Jam, who's still alive. And then Two Boots apprehends Hendrix, who admits to working for Demas, but Two Boots is holding him in the line of a window, and so a sniper then takes Hendrix out, as it then cuts back to the present, you could say, to that interview, as Brander says that he's done now, which the interviewer wants to know more, mainly about Fraxmore, who is the officer who's apparently missing. But Brander says that he just doesn't know more, but that him and Two Boots are currently investigating all of that. But currently, he is keeping that evidence privileged to just him and Two Boots. And that's where Brander's stuff ends in this issue. Obviously, with that safe house, I kind of think it's probably is more of a setup, as it seems like Jam Jam was the only one who actually ever was on duty, because they started with him. And so I would assume Brander kind of set it up to catch whatever officer he thought the mole was, as he obviously suspected Hendrix. So I kind of question if there actually even was anyone there. But I don't know. I assume we'll either just never know or find out. Or maybe I'm looking into it too much. But the issue then ends with a moment with Maul, who is acquiring a ship to head to Janix. I forget. It was somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if it was anywhere important, but he asks this guy for a ship and then he kills him or whatever. Or does he kill him? I don't remember. I feel like he killed him, and then he takes the ship to head to Janix. So yeah, but obviously I don't know if he'll arrive on Janix in this comic, or if there'll be something in the TV show or what. I don't know, but no, I am interested to see where this story goes, as I do like noir stories, and I do hope it kind of leans a little more into it, but so far I'm into it. The art was good. Don't have too many complaints there. So yeah, but my grade for this issue is going to be a B plus. So yeah, but issue 2 comes out when I think after the first 2 episodes, before episode 3, but that stuff's probably already out by the time this is going up. So yeah, but you can check out my reviews for the show and the later issues once those come out. But I've been Star Wars Review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Always running.
I invite you to look more closely.
What are we dealing with?
Good question. And I offer you an opportunity.